triggered the chemical explosion? Was it truly an intentional strike by President Bashar al-Assad, or was it something else? Joining me now from Southern California, investigative journalist and Daily Ledger contributor Kimberly Dvorak. Kimberly, your sources are saying that they doubt that it was Bashar al-Assad behind this chemical explosion. Who are they and why?
Okay, first of all, last week a number of intel community people reached out to me. They never do that. We have to ferret our information as journalists, but they reached out to me on this. And now we have an MIT professor in his, I'm going to read this here, Theodore Postal. All of the released data is amateurish, and the mistakes indicate that the White House report is like the earlier Obama White House report that was not properly vetted by the intelligence community as claimed. That's how he starts out his letter.
So you got two things there. One, he thinks, what is amateurish? That the investigation is amateur?
Yeah, he does, because what he does is he's looked at the photos and he's taken a look through Google Maps where you can go down and actually look at the actual chemical attack site, and what he's seeing and what others inside the intel community are seeing, that if the bomb dropped from above, that the pipe that they put this gas in, whatever it may be, it's not even proven to be sarin yet, but it would be broken up as it was hit from above. But in
other words, it would detonate above ground before it hit ground.
And what they're seeing is it looks like that there was some sort of device underneath of the pipe that exploded upward. That indicates it was exploded on the ground, not via the air.
Okay, he's also insinuating that the information that Donald Trump may be receiving may not be that accurate. This is scary stuff.
Yeah, so I think that's the first question that most Americans need to ask here. Who's actually giving the president this information? And why is he relying on it? And I think his emotional response, he was practically near tears, if you remember last week when they launched this. That's concerning, because a president of the free world should be decisive and strong. So who's giving them this information? Is he being goaded into war, or is he just not reading all the facts into this? So that's also concerning.
Okay, but I believe that a president, I have Italian blood in me, and I'm a very emotional person. And I believe that Donald Trump can also be a very emotional person and a very good president at the same time.
Yeah.
So, be that as it may, when you look at Bashar al-Assad and the Syrian regime, this is the problem I have with this whole scenario. How does it benefit Bashar al-Assad with all of the eyeballs of the world watching what's going on in Syria right now? How does it benefit him dropping chemical weapons on his own people at this juncture?
And you asked the best question of all. Who stands to gain from this? Certainly not Assad. He's winning the war over there. Certainly not Russia. They don't want all the heat over this. So that leaves a couple different players. It leaves the Iranians, who are upset with the growing influence of the Sunnis inside of Syria. And it also leaves the Sunnis, who are worried that Assad is winning and they want more of that power. In fact, back in 2013, where President Obama drew that red line after there was a sarin gas attack that killed 1,400, it was later learned that it was Turkish officials that worked with the al-Qaeda groups to make this look like a false flag and make it look like President Assad did this.
Okay, number one, Iran wants Bashar al-Assad basically to stay in power, right? Doesn't he? I mean, don't they? Because
they can influence him.
Right, exactly. He's kind of static for them, right?
Exactly.
Turkey, okay, possibly. But Erdogan has a lot going on within his country right now. So that brings us to the most logical to me, other than Bashar al-Assad, would be the Islamic State terrorists. Isn't that a possibility too?
Yeah, but you have to remember too that al-Nusra and some of the other groups are now, and in fact intelligence communities starting to report that these groups are starting to consolidate, which means ISIS is taking heavy casualties.
Right.
So they're going to start consolidating with other groups like al-Nusra and al-Qaeda to reemerge as a larger group.
So what does that have to do with chemical weapons?
That means what they want to do is they want to get rid of Assad because they would like to take control of Syria. And again, it also creates a fog of war type scenario. So whomever actually ultimately perpetrated this attack, it's going to be harder and harder to prove who did that. So they cover their tracks.
Okay, so here's what I think is most likely, and Sarah, we haven't even talked about it, but I've talked about it on this program, and that is Bashar al-Assad sends out his bombers to bomb whoever and hits some sort of stockpile of something, but you believe that possibly it is not sarin gas. It's something else?
Yeah, a lot of people I mean, in the intel community, they're just saying that because of the photographs of the aftermath, a lot of the first responders were not wearing gloves and were not wearing the proper mask, and had it been sarin, they would have been dead as well.
Because of the lingering effects.
Exactly,
All right.
exactly. So that's why we're seeing that. But don't take Turkey out of this. Remember, he had his referendum vote this weekend,
Right.
and he needed a distraction from that, and the world certainly has been distracted by all this, and there hasn't been a lot of reporting about Turkey, which is also very important here.
Okay, but back to the chemical. So if not sarin gas, what? An insecticide of some kind?
Insecticides, yeah, there Clorox, bleach. There are a number of different chemicals that when you concentrate them and release them out, that can have a devastating effect. That's why we're seeing younger people and older people who were the ones that died in this, part of the 80 that died. So, I mean, it obviously affects the younger and the weaker. And so it hasn't been proven to be sarin, and even the White House has stepped away from that claim.
And, you know, we do see the video, or we did see the video of those first responders making, you know, bodily contact with the victims.
Yeah, no gloves.
Yeah, and if it was sarin, they probably would be feeling the effects of it, correct?
They would have died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, the White House insists it has pretty good information, although, as you pointed out, they're backing off of actually calling it sarin gas. Let's just hope that the president is getting good, solid, vetted information and is not based on anything except what is best for this presidency as well as the United States of America.
Absolutely.
Kim, thanks.
Thank you.